All right, we've got another animation here from Daniel Bennett on Twitter. So thanks very much for sending this over, Daniel. Let's have a look. Ooh. Cool. Okay, so made a few notes. I think the first thing that stands out to me is that Link is kind of just standing there, kind of waiting to get hit. It feels he doesn't feel in a particularly ready pose for an attack. You know, even something like this feels a little more ready, and I definitely animate him to be kind of reacting to what is coming towards him. He seems very chilled for this massive guy launching a huge attack. Just try not to make him feel too idly at the start, I guess. And let's have a look on the tiger. So I'd probably do a bit bigger of a swing here on this sword. Get him really twisting that upper body round. And maybe even get like the back arm here up. So you really get that kind of twist in the body. And same thing here. I know he's got his shield. Still get a bit more twist, I feel. These are fists, by the way. Just to kind of wind up into that big swing up. I think some twist would help with the tension in these poses. I think this pose is quite nice. Maybe just a little more flow through the arm and the sword. So he's kind of got this flow going. I think you could definitely have some of that in the tail as well. Maybe more up here with the tail. And then, you know, the sword and all kind of flowing through as one neat line of action. If you watch the spacing of him, he feels like he kind of drops here and then he's kind of stuck in screen space. He might not be in the camera in the perspective view, but in screen space here with this camera, he's looking very stuck. I feel like this energy that you've got on Link here should be the kind of energy you want throughout the entire start. He's kind of ready for something and he's reactive to, and you know, very on edge to what's going to happen. And I definitely hold this pose a lot more and don't have this isolated move down of the shield there. But obviously not held as much where he kind of snaps into position and gets stuck as you have now. And again, I feel like his tail kind of reacts a little late here. Make sure you're kind of getting the physics of the tail working right. So this would lead and then this would follow. And then as this reaches up here, then this would start to lead down. So you're always getting a C curve to an S curve to a C curve to another S curve. That's kind of how those tails move through the motions there. I'm going to draw a bit more of what I mean here. So you got the C shape, and this is now starting to come down, whereas this is still overlapping. This is cool, but we know that because that started to come down, we probably want it more down there. And then just for example's sake, let's say it's gone to the bottom of that arc and then we're doing that S. So it'd be something a bit more out here. Just always between those, so C, S, C, S, and then between those is they're the key poses you're looking for in a tail when it's overlapping, I guess. So if it's not one of those things, then like here we get a bit straight, then it tells you that it's kind of wrong. I think again here you want that line of action through the body, leading with the hips. Really getting those forwards, getting this nice line all through the sword, all through the body. And then when we're coming down, just really pushing those hips back, maintaining this headspace arc, getting this reversal in the C shape of the spine. Just being a bit clearer with the pose, I guess. Yeah, I feel like you almost missed the big shield impact here. I really feel like you should lean into this pose a bit more. It's also a good opportunity to get a little more character into Link here. There's no reason that he isn't facing the screen here, in my opinion, and I only think it would help to show that he's preparing himself for a big hit here, and then taking it, you'll be able to be a lot more stable in this pose because he's already kind of braced for impact, and we get a little read on his face and and what he's thinking. And I think this camera comes to quite an abrupt stop. I think you definitely want to ease that down and maybe overshoot it and settle nicely back up. It feels like it between here and here is too fast for a camera to stop. So definitely ease that out. Felt like the tiger could have a bit more settle in his body through here. It gets a little stuck again. If that sword's just getting stuck in the ground, then have him show that the sword is stuck in the ground by reacting and overlapping, and really that energy of the sword being stuck in the ground, it has to go somewhere because the tiger is still putting all of his weight into that. So it's really going to ripple through his body and go up and down and cause all kinds of rotations in the head and shoulders and hips and chest. So I really take a pass of that when he hits. And I think on the tiger, he seems like he's, again, like Link at the start, just waiting through here for Link to swing around and smash him in the face. He even leads into it to make it even worse. So I'd definitely have him kind of trying to pull this sword out, maybe get a reversal in the spine here. Just kind of thrashing about and being a bit like, oh no, I need to get my sword out before he, whoa, and then he gets hit in the face. This is probably a little extreme of a drawing, but I just wanted to be clear in that he should be moving a lot more than he is, I think. And I think a way to do that is to get this straight arm in here and pull out, and be trying to pull out this sword, which is wedged in the ground. And I think that will also give you a nice contrast into this here when he gets kicked in the face. You know, all his teeth fly out and stuff. It will be nice to get this reversal in the spine, getting his hips back and getting a foot adjust in there and having him catch his weight will be really cool. Give you a lot more contrast than what you have now, and will also lead you more into looking at the tiger when he can kind of settle up into this kind of dazed pose, and then we're on his face. Something catches his eye and he's shocked, which motivates the cut to your next shot. And then just briefly on that cut to the next shot, I really think it should be a POV camera. What is motivating this cut is the tiger's look. So that tells me that the next shot is going to be what he is looking at. And I think that will help to hook it up a lot nicer. So let's go back to Link anyway. So I thought through here, his body mechanics just need a little work. Just make sure we're getting nice shapes for his body. Here, if he's being kind of slammed down, that's cool. Maybe you want his shield to have come round like that. So, and his sword has come up like you have here. So he's kind of twisted. This leg is then coming up to catch his balance, which is cool. But then that can turn into what you have here, where it swings around and then plants over here. So I do this because he's down here. I definitely use that leg to really push him off. Maybe even the shield can touch the ground here and help to really push him up in that direction after this frame. He's got the shield, he's really pushed off there. He's pushing off of this leg. He's planted this foot here. I'd probably have it plant just a little closer so that we'll maybe bend that. And then I think it's cool that he comes down. I probably wouldn't come down quite as much but it can kind of just be like a little catch in the balance, just a little down here. So his arc of the translate Y of the hips doesn't feel stuck. But this will be where he's kind of taken the weight on the sword. So that causes the hips to come down. And then I think if this foot is planted a little more over here, then it becomes a bit more believable that he can generate such power through that. So he can start to lean over. So we're down here. I'm always checking the spine shapes that I've drawn. So I think what's giving me some trouble here is that this one is feeling a little awkward. So maybe just have a little reversal here. I think you want to start to be coming up with that body. So this foot would be planted more here. And we can get that reversal again, similar to what you have already, which is cool. Another redraw. Oh. It does take a bit of working out sometimes, just making sure that your contrast is right. So I think I want to lean into that more with the chest. because he wants to get his chest over this way so that all of his weight is kind of over there, and then he can then quickly throw his weight over here, which will throw this leg into his face with more force. So big extension here. If you have his face a bit more maybe in this realm, the tiger, then it gives you a bit more room to maybe bring this up here. Maybe not that high, but I think what you really want to do is get some reference and look at how the spine shape is changing through that, which will then really inform your poses and help you to get cleaner lines like this. I'm assuming that because this leg is kind of straight, that this would want to flow through the body that way, but it could also be more of this sort of thing where maybe this leg is more here, but this will really happen over not that many frames. Get a bit of reference and that will really help in there. Whoa. But another good indicator for working that out is what the previous and next poses are doing. So that's why I've gone for that kind of reversal, because I've gone for that there and then that there. So that tells me that that should maybe be that way if this is this way. And again, just reversal into down and then back up into the cell, just like you have. But yeah, thanks so much for sending this in. It was really fun to look through. And yeah, I hope it helped. I'm going to go look at some reference now. Bye.